Welcome back to the deep dive. If you've ever watched a live broadcast and wondered how it all looks so, well, seamless, it really all comes down to synchronization. Today, our mission is to do a deep dive into that unseen gear that makes it all work. We're looking at reliable crew communication with the Datavideo ITC300 SL belt pack and then a flawless on-camera delivery with the TP-300 prompter kit.
Exactly. I mean, a successful live production is like this highly choreographed dance. And every piece of equipment, its job is to close the distance between the director, the camera operator, and the talent. These two tools do just that.
Okay, so let's unpack that, starting with what I guess you could call the crew's lifeline, the ITC300 SL digital intercom belt pack. This is specifically for the ITC300 system, and it's all about keeping the crew mobile and connected.
Yeah, and what's really fascinating here is how they handle power and distance. The unit is powered directly over the Ethernet cable.
So power over Ethernet, PoE.
Right. It simplifies cabling so much. You don't need separate power cables all over the place. And more importantly, this setup lets you use the belt pack up to 328 feet away from the base station.
100 meters, that's huge.
It is. It's essential for big studios or, large live events.
That kind of range explains why you see this gear in major institutions. And speaking of that, you mentioned a specific compliance detail.
I did, yeah. For anyone working with, say, governmental buyers, the unit is TAA compliant. That basically means it follows the Trade Agreements Act, which is a key requirement for a lot of those contracts.
Okay, let's get into the actual use. The connectivity seems pretty smart. It uses a standard 3.5mm stereo jack for the headset and mic, so you aren't locked into some expensive brand-specific headset.
Exactly. And you have a volume knob right there.
Okay.
But the real integration, the genius of it, is the tally function. This is how you communicate without even talking. There's a 3.5mm output for the TD3 tally light, and it gives you red, green, and even yellow indicators.
Okay, so red is on air, green is preview, but what's yellow for?
Yellow is often for standby or maybe a cue for a graphics operator. So you're essentially getting this silent visual status update in real time. Plus, the unit itself signals incoming and outgoing calls. And when you're in a dark studio, the talk and call buttons are really easy to find by feel.
So you're not fumbling around.
You're not fumbling, exactly.
Yeah, okay. So once the crew is perfectly in sync, we need to turn our attention to the talent. Because all that clear communication doesn't mean much if the on-camera delivery is, shaky. And that brings us to the Datavideo TP-300 prompter kit.
Right, and the beauty of the TP-300 is just how flexible it is. It's light enough for a theater stage, but also tough enough for a busy video studio. It's all about helping the talent maintain that eye contact and a smooth delivery.
And this is where it gets really interesting for workflow, the compatibility. You don't need a special dedicated monitor, which can be super expensive. The kit is made to work with iPads and Android tablets. You just use their DV Prompter app.
Yeah, it turns consumer tech into a broadcast-ready tool. It's a huge win for mobile production budgets. And the physical setup.
Also really flexible. The frame itself just locks onto any standard tripod quick release plate, so setting up and tearing down is fast. The camera hood is adjustable, too, for different lenses. But what's really crucial is that the design lets you do standard prompting, through the glass or below the lens prompting if you need it.
The mounting bracket seems key here. It can handle tablets from about 4 to almost 8 inches wide. So it's secure, but you can swap devices easily. But for the person on camera, it's really the operation that matters.
Absolutely. You just copy and paste your script into the app. It can scroll automatically, sure, but the real power comes from using an optional remote, either wired or wireless. That lets someone control the scroll speed to match the natural rhythm of the speaker.
And what about the reading distance? You don't always want the camera right up close. And that's why the reading range of 9 feet, or 3 meters, is so important. That distance lets you get much wider shots without the presenter squinting to see the text. And you can customize everything, fonts, colors, text size, to make sure it's crystal clear, even from that far away.
So when you put it all together, what does this actually mean for you? We've looked at two foundational tools here. The ITC300 SL gives you clear, mobile, and silently integrated communication over a massive distance. And the TP300 gives you flexible, controlled, and clear presentation delivery. These really are the gears of professional sync.
And it brings up a really interesting question for the future, I think. With that 9-foot reading distance on the prompter and wireless remotes being so common, the need for the camera operator and the prompt writer to be in the same spot is, well, it's dissolving. So how much tighter will the integration between the teleprompter system and the camera operator become? And what new production roles might pop up just by removing those few feet of distance? Something to think about.